saw each other was last Monday on the hotline. First of all, thank you for being a guest on that. We had an enormous response from the viewers. Everyone loved Cody Hoffine. They're like, that guy is amazing.
That guy's on something. He's crazy.
No, the farthest from that. In fact, the thing about it, Cody, is that you're one of the very few in the business that run a very like a large team, and you're very successful at it. And so the questions that I was getting in from the people who were commenting and responding in were like, how do we do that? How do we build teams the way that the way that Keegley has and the way that Cody and his group have? Like, how is that possible? Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that it's massive value for people to understand what it looks like to build a team, grow a team, to know when to start building the team, to know when to start hiring, when is the appropriate time to do that. And there's no one better to talk about that, I think, in my opinion, than you.
Well, you're super kind, but coupled with you, I think we're going to nail this today, because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today.
Fun. But I want to just go back a little bit, because on Monday, what happened after we were done the hotline show, my little puppy dog got sick. And so that had been a little bit of an interesting week, but I'm feeling great because my dog is good.
Dude, God is good. Dogs are good.
God is good. Everybody prayed for him, and then he just ended up making it, and it was the weirdest thing because the guy almost fell out twice. So just to have him back and being the same dog was super fun. So my week has been interesting. And then you and I chatted, and we were chatting about this amazing mastermind that you've got set up. Let's talk about Lake Powell and what's going to be happening on Lake Powell.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go. So by the way, guys, in fact, Jamil, for my followers that are on here, give a brief background, then let's hop right into this mastermind we're going to be doing on Lake Powell. But I want my audience to know just a little bit about what it is you have done, because your story is incredible, and I'm honored to have you on here today. I'm glad that we're doing this together, and then let's get right to that. So I want my following to know why you're here and some of the special things that you've been able to accomplish.
I appreciate that, brother. So for those of you who don't know me, I am one of the co-founders and president of Keegley, the hat on my head. We're a wholesale disposition company, and in fact, we've grown quite rapidly in the 4.5 years that we've been around. And so our key proficiency is building buyers lists and connecting with buyers to help other investors disposition their deal. There was a disproportionate number of acquisition wholesalers in the business. And what we kept finding earlier on was that we would be showing up to all the same buy appointments as our competitors.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is everyone would bid each other up, and then the price would be too high to be really a deal. And then people would cancel on the contract, and we'd have upset sellers. We'd have wholesalers making no checks, and that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Right. That wasn't fun for anybody.
You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this for free.
No, nobody does. Right. Nobody does. And again, the one thing that we've really done well is that we're a service-based company. And so when we planted our flag on the ground, we said, guys, wholesalers, investors, real estate entrepreneurs, we are here to assist you. We want you to be able to sell your deal for as much money as possible, but we also want you to use this as a resource to find out where you need to be locking deals up for it to disposition.
Yeah. Right.
Finding value in this business is probably the hardest thing for a wholesaler to wrap their head around, because we tend to we get excited when we have a fresh lead or we have somebody that looks like they might want to sell, and then
quite frankly, we overthink this process way too much.
100%. And I love what you were saying on the hotline, because you said that you send your ACK reps out with no ARV. You just let them lock it up as low as possible. And that's awesome, right? That's fantastic. You give them a long ability to really get in there and do their best. And because you've been successful at that, I think that's great. You very likely won't have disposition issues because of that. Yeah. But what we were finding is there was still a lot of people having issues selling their deals. And in the time that we've been around, our company routinely does anywhere between 60 and 80 transactions month to month. So on it's crazy town, right? It's fantastic. Some of you guys might have seen me painted blue on a Genie ad that I do for my coach.
Dude, that's one of my favorites.
Not for my kids though, but they're like, "Dad, what are you doing? Put your shirt on." But the fact is that for us, we really are truly operators like Cody. Yeah. Like we're the real deal. We do the business. We care about you, and you can reach out to Keegley to find out where you need to be on a house. In fact, I just before I got on this live, I had an agent reach out to me and say, "I've got these 2 deals. One of them I have under contract. One of them I don't yet. Can you give me a buy price on the one I don't have a contract on and tell me where you can be on the second one?" And this is what we do. We provide a service to folks. We let you know where you need to be numbers wise. And then you go out and do your core thing, which is lock up the deal and lead gen.
Love it. Love it. And here you are succeeding, doing well. 60 to 80 transactions a month, which is pretty dang impressive. I love it. Perfect. And let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this. Let's help people understand what they're going to get out of this, what's going down, so that we can help them win and win big. So we are going to be, guys, talking about team building. But before we get there, we're going to talk about this mastermind, so I don't forget. But this team building, but bring in your questions, guys. This is the time to ask us questions about team building. Everyone wants to scale their business, but the steps on how to do it are uncertain, or there's that fear that's like, oh, do I hire this person first or this person first? Are they commission based? Are they salary based? Like, are they hourly pay? Are they not hourly pay? Like, what are we doing here? We're going to break that down. So bring your real-time questions. We want to help you guys throughout this whole entire, what live you want to call it, StreamYard that we're doing, so that we can help you guys grow and scale your business. So,
and in the meantime, what I want to do, I want to go live. I want to share this to a couple of groups that I'm a part of, so that we can get as many questions as we can asked as possible.
Yes. Hey. While he's sharing this, guys, what he's talking about, this mastermind that's going down, is in October 5th through the 8th, and we only have about 2 or 3 spots left for this. We are going to be down in beautiful, beautiful Lake Powell. It's about a 6-hour drive from Salt Lake. It's about a 4-hour drive from Phoenix if you're over in the Arizona area. But ultimately, beautiful lake. It's going to be incredible company. We're going to be out on the houseboat. In fact, let me see if I can get this to zoom in just right, guys. Can you see this yet? Or is it blurry?
A little blurry, but I think, yeah.
Come on. Oh, you won't be able to see it. Guys, you're going to be on a beautiful, beautiful houseboat for 4 days while we go over exactly what we're talking about. A brief little moment today. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about team building, scaling, growing the business so you can get into those 7-figure years that everyone wants to get into, but maybe uncertain on how to do it. So keep going, Jamil.
Awesome. Well, and who's going to be on this houseboat, Cody? Because I think that's pretty special as well. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so we've got myself. We have got Mark Stubler. If you guys have not met Mark Stubler, my business partner, salt of the earth, one of the most incredible business people you will ever meet. This guy is like, if I come to him with like my crazy ideas, I'm like, hey, Mark, what about this? I think this would work. And Mark's like, oh, yeah, but here's how you could implement it. Here's how we'll actually put the process together. This guy is process driven. This guy is like automation driven. And so he knows all the stuff that I don't know how to do. Before me and Jamil got on this today, we were like, crap, what do we have to do to log on to this? And what do we have to do about this? And I had to bring in my crew to say, like, okay, now where do I go from here? That's how less tech we are. Mark, the opposite. He's like the nuts and bolts. He knows everything there is about business. So myself, Mark, we've got about 12 individuals that most of them have gone through my coaching program. And now they're at the point where they're like, okay, I'm done with the one-man band wearing all the hats. Let's grow. And then Jamil is now committed to being down there because, guys, we want to add insane amounts of value on this mastermind. And to learn more, by the way, I better put a little comment banner up there how they can learn more about how they can do this. But also, Jamil, he wants to bring out, if you have a couple people that you want to bring out, just let me know.
Well, I'm gonna announce it to my friends and followers this entire time up until we get there, to make sure that we can have the most high level participants that we can find. Yep. Again, this is not for guys that are just starting. So I apologize if you're excited and you're like, but I haven't done a deal yet. It's okay. You'll get there. Right. We're looking for some specific people that are doing at least, what would you say, like 3 deals a month?
Yeah, I'd say 3 to 5 deals a month is like
3 to 5 deals a month that are looking at team building.
That's right. And have the money to invest into that team, that next stage. It's not for the faint of heart. It's something that very few do, because there's so much fear and anxiety tied behind it, but we break it down step by step. So essentially, we will literally pull back the curtain and show you from A to Z our whole business setup. Jamil's going to be there now, so I'm sure he's going to be sharing step by step.
I'll be sharing a lot, guys.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be strong. But ultimately, this is going to be huge. It's going to be a great event. Also, we have team members coming. So this is the crucial thing. You'll see that I'm not the hero, guys. I'm just a guide. Jamil is not the hero. He's just a guide. If we were the heroes, it'd make it sound like, oh, well, you guys are Batman, so I can't do nothing. I just got to be a civilian. No, guys. We're just the guide. We're like the Yoda turning Luke Skywalker into the hero. That's all we want to be part of, is we're going to guide you step by step, so you guys that come out are the heroes. So that's what the scale event's about. It's on a beautiful houseboat, Lake Powell, October 5th through the 8th. If you want to learn more, I'll put up something here at the end on this on a banner so you can see it. But ultimately, you can DM me, PM me, or even Jamil, that if you're interested, and we'll connect. We'll get on the phone and break it down for you.
Awesome. Is Corbin near you by chance?
Corbin is not, but I can be. He's just right across the hall.
Okay, because I was trying to find the live and I couldn't locate it on my page or yours. And so if you might want to just let him know to hop on there and share it to them.
Hold on. Keep them busy.
Okay. So guys, I want you to start writing your questions in the chat, if you would, on the first thing that you should be doing, or, when you're looking to scale. So what questions do you guys have about scale right now? Is it hiring? Is it how to compensate? Is it who to hire first? Where to hire? How to hire? What is that? What are your key questions? I just want you to write those in the chat, because we would love to know from the other side of the coin what you specifically are looking for with respect to building out your team. So get in the comments right now and ask us some questions about that. We are excited. And for anybody that's on the fence about what Cody was talking about, the Lake Powell Mastermind, you should definitely check it out. When Cody asked me if I would join, I was like, yep, I'm going to be there, because I know that even at my level, I learn from people all the time. When I was in Cody's office in Utah, I saw a really, really amazing operation there. And I know that with their competencies, we have different business models, completely different business models. And so when I walk into Cody's office, it's an acquisition heavy wholesale operation. We're a disposition heavy wholesale operation. So we don't look the same. So when I'm in his operation, I can see things that are not happening in my office, and vice versa, right? So when Cody visits us at Keegley, he's going to see things in our operation that aren't in his operation. So we can really communicate to both sides of the coin and help you get key pieces. You might decide, hey, I want to do a little bit of both, right? And that would be ideal. And so I think we're going to have an opportunity to really dial in what this business can look like. Imagine, Cody, what it would look like if there was a wholesale operation that had a scaled acquisitions department and a scaled up dispositions department. I mean, I think that could be the Keegley the next in line. You know what I mean?
That would be, yes, that would be like the ultra, right?
Yeah,
that'd be it. So, Jamil, here's something I always like to ask on the dispo side when it comes to team building. To be able to process 60 to 80 transactions a month, how big a team are we talking?
Awesome question. So we're over 40 people.
Jeez. And they're all right there. Are you guys all in the same office? Is it remote? What does that look like as a setup?
So for the most part, we're all in Phoenix, right? Okay. So, but we do have remote offices where we have corporate stores. So we have a corporate store in Georgia. We have a corporate store in Florida. And so we've got boots on the ground team members in Tampa, Orlando, in Atlanta. But for the most part, our core business and the core people in the business are all located in Phoenix. And that is by design, right? We want to be able to make sure that we're maintaining quality, that we're maintaining our consistent business operations, that the way that we do show houses, the way that we communicate with our buyers is all the same, right? And so even with our franchises, they come into our core store and learn and are trained by the key personnel in the Phoenix office, and then they take that and they implement it in their respective markets. So there's a huge synergy there.
That's a big team. What is when it comes to building your team, what's your, like, if you said one quick tip before you put the team in place, this has got to take place, like this has got to be in place. What would you say, like a quick tip of helping people understand before they bring on a team, what little things need to be in place?
So you have to be revenue generating. You have to be rev positive, right?
Yeah.
I have a lot of folks that reach out to me that have some resources that they haven't really started producing revenue in the business. And so they're dipping into savings, they're dipping into credit, and they're not quite operators yet, right? And so what I typically advise in those circumstances is have a key business first. You really don't need to be a team until you are overwhelmed with work.
Yeah, so true.
Right. And that's where I started. I was like overwhelmed, and then I needed help. And so that's when I started looking out for assistance from different people. And that led me to Josiah and Hunter.
You bring up a good point, because here's the thing where I see most people fail, or most people where they actually don't do what they want to do or accomplish what they wanted to accomplish, was they scale too quick. They scale too soon. And they didn't learn all the processes. I feel like, seriously, and this may not be the answer for everyone, but I will tell you, like, you may not like it, the most successful wholesalers or investors I've ever seen are the ones that wore the hat in every position for a period of time so they can learn all the different processes. Because if you don't nail down and get good at acquisitions, and then you bring on an acquisition manager and they come in and say, hey, these leads are weak, I just don't know what to do with them, you're going to tend to believe them. And now you're spending all this other money on marketing to find new leads, where what if it's the process and the acquisition manager that it's not the leads that are weak, but it's him that's weak, right? Or her that's weak. They're not taking care of those leads like they should. And so by being part of that process and knowing it yourself, you're able to see those I should say those like corrections that are needed. They're going to go out there and make mistakes. But what's crucial is you need to be able to go in there and correct them rapidly. You can't let that sit long. And that's the biggest thing that I've seen when it comes to team. That's why I love in-house. That's why I don't love outsourced all over the place. I love the in-house because, and I'm glad that you have some in-house, because it just shows the power of you're able to hear some of the things going on and then instantly make corrections if you need to, and not stew on them for a month or 2 months before you find out what's going on.
Correct. And I think, again, when you have that core business, you have the core team in-house, beyond just making the corrections, right? In terms of the positive energy that happens in an environment like that, where you see one department starting to really gain momentum, another department gains momentum again. And so people feed off each other. And if you have all of your people in one area, for the most part, like the way that you guys have it and the way that we have it at Keegley, you can see that environment over there is really, really encouraging, right? It is not, you don't walk into that place and feel like, oh, what a drab this place to work in is. You know, you guys have it beautifully renovated. The office culture is fantastic. It's high energy. Everybody, there's drinks, there's chips, there's snacks, there's all the, everyone's just like, yeah, let's go. Right. Somebody throw me a Mountain Dew. Let's go. And it's like, and they're going, and your act guys are on the phone. They're handling business all day. And it's the same as at our place, right? Just last week, we had an acquisitions movie night, and we actually have an act department at Keegley. A lot of times they don't realize that you need to do acquisitions in order to disposition a house.
That's right.
Where does the inventory come from? And so we still have a very active acquisitions team, but our core competency is dispositions, right? That's where we spend a lot of time, money, and resources.
Phenomenal.
building the lists. And so what do you think? So we've just said that you have to be proficient and competent at every department in your business.
Yeah.
Now that you've done that, right? So you say, okay, I've tried, I know acquisitions, I've been selling houses, I know dispositions, I'm running my own paperwork, so I know transaction coordinating, and I understand those processes, and I see where the holes in a deal happen.
Yep.
Right. Because if you don't have strong TCs running the ball for you, then deals will fall apart, and you can't. Imagine how frustrating that is for your sellers, your buyers, when your transaction coordinators aren't moving the process along.
That's right.
And so there's a lot of
moving parts.
A lot of moving parts. And so what's the first hire, Cody? What was the first hire for your organization? Who did you start and decide that you needed to replicate out of you first?
Yes. So two things. Right before we brought on people, here was the key thing me and Mark had to sit down to do. We brought on people and they left soon. And we thought, man, this isn't ever going to work. And now we just trained our competition. Here's the thing that didn't work. Me and Mark. We were thinking we had this like cool, great thing and that anyone would just jump in and want to be part of it and it's going to be awesome.
Right.
The issue is we didn't have the processes dialed in. We didn't have the systems dialed in. So there wasn't a way to just plug people in and succeed and win at a high level because we ourselves didn't have that process. But when it came to hiring guys, first and foremost, we knew what our mission was. Our mission was to help as many possible, get creative real estate solutions to help people move on to plan B, right? We knew what our mission was. We wanted to help individuals move on to plan B and make it literally a win-win. So that was our mission. And then we had these core principles: love, respect, like service, customer-minded, mastery, where you're always working on personal development. These were all part of our core principles that me and Mark were doing. Here's the thing why I bring this up. If you're going to be bringing on a team, it's crucial to understand what you're looking for. So many times when you think about it, you're like, oh, I just want this killer sales rep that's just going to go out there, or someone that already knows real estate. Here's the truth. Me and Mark knew nothing about real estate when we got in this game, but we were kind to people. We did love people. We were service oriented. We always had the customer first, not us. And with those key principles, we were able to do, the byproduct was get homes under contract at a discount. So when we were hiring, we were looking for people with those core values, knowing that we could teach real estate easy. I don't want someone that comes in saying, I know real estate, but is shady or not trustworthy or is just like a shyster. Like we all know those people. Yeah. I don't want to have to teach them how to be kind and loving. That's hard. I'd rather people to already be kind, loving, service-oriented, customer-minded, and then I'll teach you the real estate. That's the easy part. So that was our first thing.
Where do you find people like that?
What's that?
Where do you find people like that?
You're going to laugh because none of our hires came from ZipRecruiter. None of our hires came from online ads. Every one of our hires, guys, come from friends, family, referrals from friends and family. Our acquisition manager is in the same church as my business partner, Mark. And then because he came in and started succeeding, he's like, hey, I have a buddy that's also a door-to-door sales rep doing solar that would love to hop into this. So now he was referred, but it was our acquisition manager's best friend. When it comes to our disposition manager, same thing, a friend. When it came to a sales floor, a friend. And then I brought on my brother, and then it just started growing and growing, right? But it was always friends and family because in those people, I could see the qualities that I wanted to, and then we could mold them and teach them what they didn't know. And so that's how we do it.
It's so funny that you do it that way because it very much is the same at Keegley. So our first hires were some of Josiah and Hunter's best friends.
Yeah.
And then it went out to folks that they worshiped with that church. And then and then they would talk to people, and they would talk to people, and they would talk to people. And as we grew, we just said, please let your friends and family know that we're hiring. And then people would say, like, you work at this fantastic company, and you seem to have, such a good time. And I'd love to be a part of that. So how can I get involved? And then they would refer them, and then we'd hire them. And so we really have an office full of family, friends, and a lot of them worship together at the same church. It's awesome.
Yep. And by the way, I think the questions, I've seen them on my phone. They're not plugging in on StreamYard, and I don't know.
I'm looking.
I don't know why they're not plugging in, but they're definitely in there on Facebook. So let me pull up.
Okay.
By the way, guys, this is our first time. This is an account I just set up. And it's like progress, not perfection. You're going to find some flaws all over in this because I'm running this stinking show right here. And it's awful. I should have had you run the show.
I don't even know how to run the show. So,
anyways, I'm in here now. I'm going to pull up some of these questions that are coming up. One of them that I saw that jumped up was the first hire. So you asked that too. The first hire, I made basically a hate list and a love list. So the things I love to do and the things I hate to do. So here's a simple practice I tell everyone. Get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, put love on this side and hate on this side. List all the things that you love to do within the wholesaling business and list all the things you hate to do. Start with hiring out the things you hate to do. And at the end of the day, you're going to hire those out first. And then you're going to go over to your love list and one by one, start hiring those off until you get to the point where right now I work maybe 3 to 5 hours in the wholesaling business each and every week. And that's it.
Amazing. And then tell the people that jumped on, that follow me, that might not know you. What does your operation look like in terms of size? What does it look like in terms of volume? What is that? What does your business look like? I've seen it, so I know how impressive it is.
Yeah,
they have that same visual.
So we have two locations. We have our local location right here in Salt Lake City where I live. And most of our team is here. And some of that team is also assisting in our second location, which is Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Here we've been open since May of 15. Dallas, Fort Worth, we've been open for just a little over a year. What we want to do is really dial in this process, but we have about 13 to 15 people now that are under this roof. And it is just it's a well-oiled machine. Everyone's dialed in on one thing. There's a book out there by Gary Keller that's called The One Thing. The more you can segment each and every responsibility and task to an individual, the sharper, the better it gets. It gets you that laser down focus like a sniper. We're not shooting a shotgun and having BBs go everywhere. It's like a sniper approach, one bullet, always hitting the target. That's exactly how our business is ran. One person's in charge of one responsibility, period, at the end. We have people over dispo, one person. We have someone over acquisitions, although we have 3 acquisition managers. We have our operations manager. We have one over marketing. We have one over KPIs. So it's really dialed into each people. And then we have our cold calling team. And so super, super cool things that are going on. Our business here in Utah will do anywhere from last year. It's probably better to go off last year's because this year it's like I can say I'm on pace, but we don't know what it is until we do it. But last year we did just shy of 2.4 in our Utah market. And then in our Dallas-Fort Worth market, we were just a little over $500,000. This year we'll do about 2.8 in Utah market, and we'll do about $1 million in our Dallas-Fort Worth market.
Incredible. Guys, did you hear those numbers? I mean, that is very, very impressive, Cody. That's not, there's 0.5% of wholesale operations can do that. So let's imagine now, you and Mark, let's go back in time. Let's time travel, hop in the DeLorean and think about that. So you were looking at, you made the list of the things you hated. So what was the first thing that you hated that you hired?
We didn't like the dispo side. Now that wasn't out of dislike. It was more out of, we were really good and dialed in on our sales process, our negotiation process. So even though we love both sides, because there's actually an art to both sides. So, there's an art to making money on the front end, but there's an art to making money on the back end on the dispo side. So that, I think that's crucial. And I think that's what you've got really, really dialed in. But we loved going to meet people. Like that was our jam. We loved it. I didn't like the push in the paper or going to the title company and seeing how things were going or getting the PR report and all that stuff. Like I just loved meeting people and serving them at a high level. And the byproduct was I'd walk out of there with contracts to get their home at a discount. And so we hired the dispo side first and held on to the acquisition side the longest.
Okay. And then it's funny that you say that because I can feel like there's a parallel between what I ended up pushing you out, like what pushed me out. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I'm still struggling with it because I'm still a deal junkie. 100%. I love doing deals. Like
Yep.
I can't stop myself. Right. And so I'm still in the mud with my team. Like I've got certain wholesalers that won't work with someone on my team. They just want to deal with me.
Yeah.
I've got buyers that are sticky that have never been okay working with a dispo rep in my office. They just want to continue buying from me. And so I'll jump in and do those deals. But when, in terms of being able to scale it, how did that look like for you? How did it look when it was like, when you guys had that moment where it said, okay, Cody, you got to step out? How resistant were you to that?
And that's on the dispo or the acquisition side?
Because you were on the AC side, right? So how resistant were you to
jump out of that? That is the hardest thing. In fact, that is tough. If everyone, like, it's not just this easy, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great because I can only work 5 hours a week, and I've been waiting for this. The number one holdback from all people jumping forward in any industry is the word delegation. People hate to delegate. They hate delegation. It's hard. It's not like, think about it. Your whole life, you've been trained to go to school, do your own homework, do your own work at school. Like, everything was you. But then you get into business and realize it's not about you. Like John Maxwell, he doesn't say like, show me your dreams. He says, show me your team. Like, it's the easiest thing ever. He says, you want to see who's going somewhere? Don't show me your dreams. Show me your team. Because if you're someone solo, you're not going to go as far. You absolutely, and it's crucial and critical that you have a team in place. And so we're taught from youth that it's all solo. It's all about based on what I do. But then when you get to business, it completely changes. That's where I think our schooling system's a little backwards, because you can't win unless you have a team. And that gets hard. It's that sharing thing, right? Have you ever seen 2 4-year-olds play together? No, that's my toy. No, that's my toy. Like, that's how it is when it gets to business. It's like, no, that's my responsibility. I can't pass that on. It's that delegation. It's hard to pass the baton on to someone. But once you have a process in place, a system in place, it makes it easier. It's not easy, but it makes it easier to pass the baton. And then when you see someone win following that process, now you can be like, okay, it's not that bad. Someone did come in. In fact, you can find people that are actually better than you in most cases.
So I love that that's the lead in, because my next question, or the next thing was, when I remembered that I did it, was how do you quantify your process? How do you map it out? Because that was one thing that I remember for me, my team was trying to figure out. They were like, Jamil, we need to know what you do from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed.
Yeah.
All day. We have to be able to replicate that. We need to be able to guys that are able to do exactly what you do. And so what did that process look like for you? For me, it was literally logging. Okay, I wake up, I have a shower, I meditate. I'm literally writing down everything.
You mapped it all out.
And I mapped it all out. It wasn't just because I believe that holistically, your success in this business starts from the minute you open your eyes.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? On like, where does your mind first go? Does your mind first go to the phone, or does it go to God? Like, no joke.
Question.
That's for me. I have to stop myself from reaching for my phone. The first thing I'm going to do, as soon as I realize consciousness is there, I'm like thankful. I'm beginning the day with gratitude. I'm beginning the day with just how blessed I feel to be here another day, to wake up next to my amazing wife, to have my beautiful animals running around my house, our children, all of the friends and family and business people I have. I give thanks to that, and then I carry on, right? So I wanted everybody that we were going to bring into the team to have that heart, or some form of that, because I thought even if they weren't waking up and giving gratitude, it was important that they did, right? Yeah. So tell me, for you, what does that mapping process look like?
Mapping out like my whole day.
Yep. How was that? Or how did you replicate Cody?
This is tough, right? Because it was, again, acquisition was my baby. So the disposition, it was easy, because it was like, All I got to do is find someone that loves like that side of like behind the scenes, walking it through to the close, also staying in contact with the seller. And they love that and they did it great. The acquisition side, here's what was hard. When it's your baby, you're hungry. Like it's all in. You won't waste one lead. And so the only way I've been able to replicate myself is we also had to have that accountability. Knowing that, yes, you're going to bring in people that are going to do good, but don't just rest on the fact that they're good. We have to be working together as a team to become great. And that's a weekly process. So, for example, I do a program called Deal Closing Mastery, where people can join me every other week in my acquisition manager training meeting, where we go over all of our wins, our losses, why we got the deal, how we got the deal, what's the breakdown, where's the marketing channel. We do all this for an hour. And then afterwards, we open up Q&A for 30 minutes for people to ask now their questions about acquisition. We're always working on it. We're always practicing. We're always getting better. We're always finding out our flaws. Kobe Bryant, the reason why he was so well and so good at what he did is because he also learned from his wins. Most people learn from their losses. It's natural. I just got kicked out of an appointment or someone didn't like my offer, and you learn from it. But very few times do we take a second after we won and won big to sit there and look at like, why did we win? How do we replicate that win again? Few people do that. But Kobe Bryant, he did it every time. He'd win, and for 6 hours after the game, he'd be watching specifically what led to the win so we could just replicate that. And so we learn a lot from our wins. We break down every deal that we do, and we break it down from the beginning. What was our first contact? How soon after we got it? And we're always working on that. Then on top of that, we include like trainings right now. We're doing Chris Voss. It's a book called Never Split the Difference. We're now in a group that's called, it's a Black Swan group. And it's where he trains just negotiation. We're always working on ourselves. We're always adding value to the team. We're always helping them. They want to go to events. They're like, let's go to Tony Robbins, do this. We sponsor that. We pay for them to go do that. We want them to become better because we want them to never lose their edge. We don't want them to ever get satisfied. They've got to stay hungry. And that's why we brought on 3 acquisition managers. If you just bring on one, you just don't know how many deals you could have got or how many deals you missed out on. When you bring on 3, man, they're just like churning. They're like going together. Like, I got to get this deal. I got to get this deal. I got to, because they don't know when the next deal's coming in because there's 3 of them now to feed. But yet we found out when we brought on the 3rd, we were doing about let's call it 150 to 180,000 a month. We went now to over $250,000 a month the moment we brought on the 3rd acquisition manager. It lets you know that there's more deals out there that you can have.
There's always more out there. There's
always.
It's like this. It's the most fundamental flaw, I think, in the thinking process of what we do is that if some other guy learns what works, I'm going to lose the deal.
Yeah.
There's always another person. There's always another house. There's always another problem to solve. We live in a world of many problems.
That's right.
Many problems. And a lot of times selling your house could be a solution. Like, no joke. And so we can solve a lot of problems for people just in general, right? And so I think that's fantastic.
Tell me this though, Jamil. What's been your best hire? What's your most crucial hire?
Oh man. So our best hire was, and again, every department has been fantastic. It's tough for me to say that one is more valuable than the other because without my core TCs, my deals don't get closed, right? Yeah. Or the wholesalers that we're helping dispo their houses, they're angry because the deals aren't closing on time. And so like, I think for us that department really was probably the most crucial because they control the checks coming in, right? Yeah. If they're able to close deals on time, then we get revenue in and then all of the departments get paid. So I would say that really managing the transactions was one of our crucial hires. And then the other thing that we've done really well was we started hiring out intake. Intake is where we build our buyers lists, right? And building a really good team around that was fundamental for us because now that we have, and it's in fact our intake department, a lot of people don't know this, is the largest department at Keegley. So it's not disposition reps, it's not acquisition reps, it's not core transactions. It is building the list, the intake department.
Yeah.
And that department was really tantamount to us exploding, because once we were able to really dial in those buyers, we haven't looked back.
Bro, I found our questions.
Yay!
Even though they don't show up, I have our questions. All right.
Amazing.
How to get more buyers?
Love it.
That are actually buying is the question from Zagla. How do you get more cash buyers that are actually buying?
So I love this one, and I know Zagla. Zagla's awesome. She's a part of our Astro Flipping family. Hi, Zagla. So one of the ways that I love to find a buyer is this little hack. I will every single day for about, and not just I, but members of my team will look at the MLS every single day, and we'll look for properties that appear to be flip properties. So usually when people are on the MLS, they're looking for deals. They're looking for the ugly house so that they could write an offer on it. We're looking for that, but we're also looking for what appears to be a brand new flip. And what we'll do is we'll say, okay, here's a flip that just got listed. We know it's a flip because it's really nicely done. It's professionally photographed, and there's no clothes in the closet, right? So that's and then we'll look who owns the property. So we'll then look at who owns the property. We'll skip trace that owner, and then we'll reach out to that person. And the reason why we love that timing is because they just listed their flip. So guess what they're ready to do?
Get their next flip.
Their next one, right? And so we reverse engineer that timing because we know that there is a demand for that individual right now to buy. I think one of the hardest things for people in this business is finding a buyer who's ready today, right? How do you find a buyer who's ready today? Not ready in 3 months, ready, they want to buy today. And that has been a hack that we really have been doing well with. So Zach, that's my answer. Just scour the MLS every single day. Look for new flips, reverse engineer who the owner of that flip is, and then reach out to them. The other thing, Zagla, that you can do, become friends with that listing agent. That listing agent represents investors. Guess what they have? Other investors. And what you can do is you can coach a listing agent. You can coach that agent how they can make money selling wholesale properties to their buyers or to their sellers, right? Because every one of their sellers is a buyer. They had to obtain that property somehow, right? So coach the agents on how they can monetize their relationship a second way by bringing them opportunities to flip. Phenomenal.
All right, you ready for another one? Lionel, how many deals before hiring a VA? Virtual assistant for those out there.
So let me tell you this, okay? I didn't hire a VA until I had 5,000 deals under my belt.
What?
I didn't. I just hired my first VA this year.
So you're saying, so tell me what you're saying. Are you saying you don't need a virtual assistant? You can go with the team first? Or is there a way, if you're looking back, that you would do it differently?
No, because my whole team's in-house, right? And I wouldn't have done it differently because I love my team and it's my family and they're amazing, right? Yeah. So I'm going to stick with, I'm not going to hire a VA for a while. Because again, you don't have control, right? You can't listen in on those conversations. You're not there. You can't really help. And look, a lot of small teams, for instance, Pace's team, right? They crush it with VAs. Yeah. They crush it with VAs. They don't have a lot of in-house people. And so the answer that I'm going to give may not work for you. It may not be the right thing for you. But I think that what I've heard Pace say was that by the time they were doing like 3 to 5 deals, that's when they hired it out to a virtual assistant. Yeah. At the same time, I think that you might be able to do better than hiring foreign workers for the job.
Yeah. Here's where, if I'm going to fight an opposite, guys, I 100% agree with everything Jamil just said, by the way. Here's the caveat to this. I was working a 9-to-5 job when I first got into this. And I know there's many of you listening right now that are like a 9-to-5. So I would send out direct mail and people would be calling in, but I'd be at work. And so it would go to voicemail. What I did when I hired a virtual assistant, not call the individuals back, but what I would do is I'd have a system set up that if someone left a name, a number, and the property address, that was a quality one. Like that was a hot lead. If they left like some of the information, but not all of it, that was a quality 2. If it was like a hang up, that was a quality 3. So what I did is I hired a virtual assistant for $4 an hour, and they would go listen to all the voicemails and prep the sheet so that when I got off work, I called all my quality 1s first, all my quality 2s second, all my quality 3s third. And so I'm not saying, I agree with what Jamil's saying. I don't want them on the phone with my leads, but they did break down a process that would have taken me an hour or two to just listen to all the voicemails before I could just start making calls, where right when I was off work, man, it was game time. I was picking up that phone and I was dialing all the 1s, all the 2s, and all the 3s in that order. And that's when I use the VA for. It's not for calling the leads, but for doing a process for me.
So if you guys hear what, let me unpack a little bit of what Cody just said. Cody, it was using a VA for inbound leads, guys. And I think that for inbound leads, it's fantastic because they're amazing workers. They're really proficient. They understand the systems. They can fill out a lead sheet, get you everything you need. And that helped you do the business while you were still working for the man, right?
That's right.
And that's awesome. There's a lot of people out there still having their 9-to-5 jobs, and I think that's amazing. So direct mail was the way that you were getting the inbound lead. A lot of folks right now are doing SMS. Some of them are still doing direct mail and crushing it. And so if you are, then that would be a great way. But for cold calling or SMS, would you say hiring a VA is the way to go?
No. Unless it was on SMS, like text messaging, unless it was you get someone that says yes, and then they pass it off to someone at that point.
Awesome.
Other than that, I'd say no.
I've been toying with Canadian cold callers for a little while now, and let me tell you why. Right, so the Canadian workforce right now is depressed. There's not they're economically they've been really hurt with the resources because of oil. The economy is very oil dependent out there. The price of oil, as most of us know, has at one point got negative during COVID. It's not easy out there right now, and so the U.S. dollar to the Canadian dollar is about 70 cents, right? So you get for a Canadian dollar is 70 U.S. cents, and so you're getting a 30% discount there. And on top of that, their minimum wage is a lot lower as well. So you can really get a really proficient Canadian to do work for you at around $1 US an hour, which is crazy to me, right? Canadians are just like us. They speak like us. They sound like us for the most part. And
they just throw on the A.
Yeah.
How's it going, A?
Yep. Well, that's the cartoon version. We don't all sound like that, but but yes, they do have a few pronunciation differentials. But yeah, if you guys are looking to hire out, what do you think of that? What do you think of hiring out American cold callers or Canadian cold callers? What's your thought process on that? Is it because of the accents that you're hesitant to do it?
I just love in-house. It goes back to in-house. So people do it and people win. I feel like we're so dialed in our office because we've been able to sit there and be with them side by side versus like going through a month and saying, okay, X amount of leads came in and not really knowing the process and how are they talking to them. I love in-house because I can go in there at any given moment, listen to them, be like, man, that sounded awesome. Here's one thing that I would change when they say this, when they ask this question, answer it like this. And I'm able to, like I said, let them make mistakes quickly, but let me help adjust rapidly. And you just can't, you lose that speed of correction when it's third party. So I love in-house for that. And I'm not saying that's the only way. I know people do it third party. It hasn't been my jam. Me and Mark love the in-house.
Awesome. Are you doing a lot of cold calling, texting, or is mail still one of the key lead gen sources that you're winning on?
Our two biggest lead sources this year, and I should say our two biggest like conversions, are direct mail and web. Those are our two babies. Like those things are just really, really firing on all cylinders. And then cold calling's our third place. And then like text message and ringless voicemail, they're almost, I mean, they're there and they can make some money. they're really not my favorite. They're good in certain situations. I love them for follow-up. I love using like a blast text message to everyone, to your whole database. I love a blast voicemail to your database, because really our business is based off, we talked a little bit about this on the hotline. Our business is based off of change. And there's a lot of change going on. So a no yesterday very well could be a yes today because of all the change that's taking place. And instead of following up with 3,000 people one by one in your database, I think it makes a great follow-up tool. But I'm not a big fan of those two, the text and the voicemail, ringless voicemail, for an entry product to find leads. It's just not my jam.
Got it. I love that. I love the inbound. It's such an innovative and awesome way to do the business, because your phone is ringing, right? You know you have a hot lead, and so I think it's great. A lot of people moved away from mail when cold calling got really big, and I think it opened up a wide lane for people who want to send mail today, right? Yeah. I'm not getting nearly as much "I'll buy your house" for flyers in my mailbox as I was, say, 3 years ago. I might get one every few months now, where I used to get one every few days.
Yeah. And we changed that process quite a bit. Direct mail, it used to be every lead got the same postcard. Now we're really dialed in on our hot leads get this, our medium leads get this, our cold leads get this. And so they're not created equal on the front end on what they're getting in our marketing. And we've seen a huge ROI just because of how we're changing that up.
You teach that in your coaching program?
I do.
Awesome. I might need to take your coaching program so I can understand and learn direct mail a little better. I think let's chat about that, because I want to know a little bit more about mail and understanding that, because you a business that's doing $3.5 million, it's going to do $3.5 million this year on primarily mail. Like, don't sleep on it, guys. Don't sleep on that. That's millions of dollars. Salary or commissions?
Depends. We have some people that are salary, and we have some people that are structured in a commission. So salary is a good chunk of people, a good chunk of them, like our operations manager, our disposition manager. All of that's done based off of that. Acquisition is basically a salary, but they have the kicker to get bonuses when they hit their quota, when they hit what their goals are.
Got it.
And we're blended out. It used to be commission only. And then each state, you kind of just have to do it differently, because every state's different. So sometimes they say if it's a commission, it's too close to acting like a real estate agent. And so you just got to be aware of that. And I always wanted to respect those guidelines as close as I could. So we got with a real estate attorney to set this all up and say, hey, how do we do this and still be in compliance with how we need to be? And that was one of the big things that they said. They said, well, commission can be, it's like that gray area. Are you acting as a realtor? Or are you not acting as a realtor? And so we just got rid of all the commissions.
My next question then would be license, no license?
No license for any of us. So to each their own on this. I don't think it's the biggest deterrent if you are. I really don't. I have plenty of students that go through the program that are. I know Jamil knows plenty of realtors. In fact, right there, you got Brent Daniels. That's a realtor.
My whole team is licensed.
Yeah. And it's to each their own. The biggest thing in Utah, I don't know if it's the same in every state. The biggest thing in Utah was, if you are a realtor, you have to let everyone know you're a realtor on all your marketing pieces. Whereas just an investor, I can just simply say, hey, I want to buy your house at 123 Main Street. A realtor would have to say, hey, I want to buy your house at 123 Main Street. Oh, and by the way, I'm a licensed real estate agent.
So when your acquisition team member are talking to sellers who called in on an inbound lead and they negotiate price or whatnot, are there licensing requirements there, or are they exempt because they're working on behalf of the principal?
That's right. So they're working on behalf of us. So they're exempt from that. That's one of those areas. It's just different in every state. So I would definitely reach out. Here's what's hard. Real estate is viewed so differently in every state. And that's one of the things that is cool, but that's all the things that are like, because right when you dial in something, another state could be completely different. Right. California, Northern California and Southern California see the law different. And it's the same state. Like, there's just crazy stuff like that, but it's okay. It's no different than someone that bakes cakes. There's a wrong way to bake a cake and there's a right way to bake a cake. Just find the right way to bake a cake and bake the cake right. That's as simply said. So just get with a great real estate attorney and they're going to lead and guide you. and help you guide through that and know how you need to do it for your state so that it's in compliance and that you're doing it correctly. Here is a good one, by the way, Jamil. I'm going to kick this on to you. You ready? How do you avoid not delegating the wrong task?
Oh, how do you avoid delegating the wrong task, right? So when do you hang on to something versus when do you give it away? That's what I'm interpreting that. And so
he said this, he finished it like this: something like cold calling or acquisitions is some of the highest income producing activities one can do. And he's like, so how do you avoid not delegating those high income producing tasks to the wrong person?
I mean, that's the hardest thing, right? That's the trickiest part. And for me, let me share with the viewers a very short story. I went on mission in July of 2017 for the entire month. My wife and my 2 daughters, they wanted to see Europe or parts of Europe. And I couldn't have done that if I was still in the minutia of the day-to-day at Keighley. And so I had to delegate my key relationships to an individual in my organization and feel okay to do that. And so did I do it? Yes. Was it 100% smooth? No. Did the individual that I delegated to rise above and crush it? 1,000%.
Yeah.
Right. He is now our Vegas franchise. The guy that I put that I delegated all of my highest key level relationships to, not only, but there were things in there where I was like, my God, this is so hard, right? This is not going to go well. But you've got to detach from that at some point, right? Yeah. You're going to be the most married to the thing that pays you the best.
Yeah.
Right. And you're on the phone and you're really like, you speak like butter. Like, look, Pace loves talking to sellers, right? But if Pace was talking to sellers, how could he train America on how to do creative deals? He couldn't. So he has to give it away to somebody. He had to delegate it to somebody, and his team is crushing it. They really do a great job. And so I think that you have to do is the fear. That question comes from a point of view of being fearful of the individual that you decide to put that in that position, that they're gonna do it wrong, right?
Yeah.
And because it's coming from that fear base, I would dismiss it. I would say, how can I make myself as valuable to my team member that I'm going to delegate this highest revenue producing task to, and be supportive to them so that they can ultimately crush this opportunity.
Yeah.
And then look at it from that spin, look at it from that point of view, and then be helpful, be additive to that rather than fearful of it going wrong. Because I was really worried, man. I had anxiety the entire flight to Amsterdam. I was like, this is not going to go well. I'm really, really, really in trouble. Like, we're going to come back from this holiday and I'm going to think I'm never going on vacation again. Like, this is scary. But then I had to stop the thinking, right? I had to stop that guy in my head that's negative, that's fear-based, that's living in like a world that's not magical, in a world that doesn't have like amazing things happen, miracles every day. Right. Yeah. And I had to abandon that tethered guy, that really low frequency person. And I say, no, Thomas I hand trained him. He's the most proficient, amazing individual out there. He loves everybody. He treats everybody with kindness, and he's going to rock this job. And he rocked the job. So I would say that's how you do it. You do it by blessing the person that you're going to give that role to, and be expectant of their success and watch the success come to you.
Yeah. I love it. I love those answers. By the way, I was just asked if this was a Heineken. It is a Perrier. This is a club soda. I do not drink on the job, nor do I actually drink. Right. All right. Great points. I love that. And it goes back to, I think you nailed it. It could probably be coupled even to what I said earlier, was you found someone that's proficient, that was serving, that was great. Like, find people that match up with your core principles, because teaching real estate is easy. Teaching people to be kind teaching people to be charitable, teaching people to be service oriented. That's tough. I don't want to deal with that. I want someone that already has that, and I'll just teach you real estate. So that's that. I love it. I love it. Question. Oh, this might be for me. What do our mailers say? What do our different mailers say? A simple one, guys, is just as easy as this. In fact, you could head over to openletter.com/REFF. It stands for Real Estate Freedom Formula. And our postcard is actually in there. But that postcard is just as simple as this. It just says, hey, I'm interested in buying your home located at 123 Main Street. For a cash offer, reach out to us and the number, right? Just a simple message. But the thing that you got to stay simple of, if you're going to do like a typical postcard like that, is no one likes to be sold to, but yet every one of us are buyers. So I want you to remember this. When it comes to marketing, it's the key message. It's the right message to the right person at the right time. That's the trifecta. That's the holy grail of marketing. So if you can get the right message, what does that look like? To the right people, who are they? And what is the timing on this? You can start to get this consistent lead flow that just starts producing deals. Now, does it happen like everyone's one and done close? No, 75 to 80% of our deals are follow-up. So you're building a huge pipeline that are closing. You got to have a better follow-up system than you do on the spot closing system, because majority of your deals are going to come from that revenue stream. So keep it simple, just a simple message that they don't have to read and fall asleep to. And then the second thing is, no one likes to be marketed to. So you got to make sure that you're not marketing to them. On your postcard, if it shows like a home over here and a for sale sign right here and a cute little couple, like happy as they say sold, it's like everyone knows you're being marketed to. They don't even read it. They just chuck it in the garbage. So don't do any pictures. Don't do anything at all. Just do the message in handwritten font. Hey, interested in buying your home on 123 Main Street for a cash offer, call me at, boom. They don't know if the church left it. They don't know if the scouts left it. They don't know what. They don't know what it is. It's just a message, but there's no pictures of me. There's no pictures of a building. There's no pictures of a for sale sign. There's no picture of money. No, people have to read it. And you got to get people to read your message so that they can act on what they're seeing. When you see the dead spider upside down, you know you're getting nailed by a pest control company. Whoosh, deleted, like thrown in the garbage. Make it simple. Make it very easy. And no one likes to be marketed to. So make it so that there's no pictures at all.
Amazing.
Brother, I think we have nailed out an hour of people's times here.
It's like I didn't even realize that we had broken an hour yet, because it just feels so fun and natural chatting with you. I'm really excited about Lake Powell because of just how different our businesses is. And I think that all of the folks that are watching this right now need to send Cody a message about potentially joining us on that mastermind, because you're going to be learning from one of the best acquisition marketers out there that's doing it. And I promise to bring some amazing value to you guys on the disposition side. And so you guys can pick both of our brains for 4 days.
4 days. And it's beautiful setback. When I tell you Lake Powell, it really is heaven on earth. Like I would have to sound like the biggest salesman, because it's so incredible, Lake Powell, that I would do nothing but sound like a sales pitch here. It's that beautiful. It's because I'm that passionate about the place. There's so much good that goes down in that place.
Google Lake Powell. As soon as you're done this live, go Google Lake Powell first, and then second, send Cody a message. How do people reach out to you about joining the mastermind, Cody? What's the call to action for them?
Gosh, should we give them I'm debating about giving them a phone number. I'm so set to giving them something. Guys, I'm going to give you the cell phone that sits right here on my desk. It's not the one that I take home, but it is the one that sits right here on my desk. I'm going to give that to you right now in this post. But let me put it up here also. You know what? Let's put it in the comments. You ready? Let's banner this.
Go.
Banner this thing.
All right. Guys, you're gonna get Cody's phone number. It took me about 3 years in the business before I got Cody's phone number. That's cool.
All right, guys.
What shoes are you wearing today, bro?
I am. Oh, Today is simple, guys. There's nothing fancy about these ones. Yes, the day I was on with you, I wore the LeBrons. Today is just simple white Adidas.
Those are.
Huh?
They're so clean.
Oh, they are clean. I'm kind of a nut when it comes to shoes. It has to stay clean. All right, you guys ready for this? Here is our screen share. We're going to put this on. That allows you to see it, guys. Text me at this number. That's going to go directly to me if you're interested. Now, guys, here's the thing. There's only 2 to 3 spots. I wish I could say there's a handful of spots open. There's 10 spots. There is not a handful of spots. This was already sold for the last few months. This is like a last hurrah. Jamil jumped in, and I knew there'd be probably a couple people on his following that'd be like, oh my gosh, this would be like a cool event to see 2 people collab together and talk about how to grow and scale the team and show literally the beginning from A to Z, how to get your business up to 7 figures. This is not for beginners, guys. Jamil pointed that out, and I want to say that there will be a time and a season for you. Believe me, this is not the only time we do this. We do this Lake Powell event. We're going to be doing it every single year. We do one in our office every single year. And I'll team up with Jamil again. We'll do this again. But this is not for beginners. There is a time and a season. Make sure you're already doing 2 or 3 deals a month. And if that's you, this is really going to take you to the next level. This is our 3rd time doing this event. And I have people coming back for the 3rd time because every time they freaking love it. And it's a great time, guys. Phenomenal time. There's going to be a catered. So all the food's catered. I'm flying down my personal caterer that's going to make the most amazing food. It's not just hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm talking about gourmet style, like incredible, incredible food. And 4 days trapped on a boat, learning from great people. And then we have the surf boat, Jamil. So it's not just that. We have the wave runners. We have the surf boat. So during the off time, we're going to be out on the lake surfing, riding sea-doos. We're going to be going up different slot canyons and looking at all the cool things that Lake Powell has. It's amazing, guys. It really will change your life, not only just for your business. It'll change you mentally. It'll change you spiritually. It'll change you physically because you're going to be surrounded by incredible, incredible people that are going to push you to the next level.
I'm pumped. So pumped. I'm so
Let's do it, Jamil. Let's do it. Okay, guys. Any questions you have, please. Again, I already got my first text, Jamil. So this is good. We're going to be talking to some people. Guys, 2 to 3 slots open for Lake Powell, October 5th through the 8th. If you're looking to do it, let's hop on a phone call together. I can share you the details. Jamil's going to be there sharing all the dispo side. It's going to be a great time. It's going to get rowdy, meaning we're going to help build your business to the next level. This is for the guys that want to go to the 7 figures. Let's do it. So, Jamil, thank you so much, man, for being on here. I know you have so much stuff that you're doing today. I know you still got the boot on.
Still got the boot. But I go to my podiatrist today, and I think she's going to tell me today that I can start walking on it. So that takes me 3 weeks out. So I'm 3 weeks left. If I get the go ahead to walk on the boot today, I'm going to throw the knee over. I'm actually going to donate it to somebody. And then I'm going to figure out how to walk again. And then in 3 weeks, I have my legs back. Yeah.
I need you walking because Lake Powell needs your legs, my friend.
I'm excited.
Okay.
As long as we don't hike, I'm coming. I'm not hiking. All right. I'm not hiking.
Dude, you're a stud. Thank you so much. Guys, okay. God bless you guys. Hope this has helped. We're going to keep doing these things, I'm sure, throughout. I'll always keep doing them. Jamil does them. Catch them on the Wholesale Hotline every Monday, which are phenomenal. Did you want to say something on that?
Yeah, we got Trevor Mouch tonight, guys. So if any of you guys are interested on how to build an investor website, how they help you, how they work, how they can be a lead magnet for you, how they become a capture magnet, information, all of that, SEO. Trevor Mouch is the guy. Join us tonight, 5 p.m.
How do they join?
Facebook hotline, Wholesale Hotline Facebook group.
There you go. Wholesale Hotline, guys, Facebook group. Join it. I did it last week. Phenomenal questions.
Go watch last week's episode with Cody if you're just questioning what is it all about, because last week's episode was fire.
Okay, bro. Thank you so much. We're going to connect October. I'll see. Oh, no. I'll see you this week, bro. I'm flying out to Arizona. I'll be there on Thursday. So let's connect.
Love it. Let's have you at the office on Friday if you can.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Okay. Take care, guys.